Everyone at the CEO's birthday party thought they knew who she was, until she stepped out of the pool and the entire mansion went silent. What they didn't know was that she had spent years hiding, and the man staring at her was about to change her life, and later betray her. She learned early that being invisible was safer. Not because she lacked beauty, but because attention had never been gentle with her. At 16, Maya discovered something simple but powerful. Oversized clothes made people look past her. Loose hoodies, long sleeves, fabric that swallowed her shape and silenced curiosity. When people didn't notice her, they didn't comment. When they didn't comment, they couldn't hurt her. So she hid, and over time, hiding became who she was. Why Maya never wanted to be seen. By 24, Maya had perfected the art of blending into the background. At work, she was efficient but quiet. At social events, polite but forgettable. In mirrors, she avoided her own reflection. Not because she hated herself, but because she didn't trust the world with her. Attention, in her experience, always came with a cost. The invitation that should have meant nothing. The CEO's birthday party wasn't meant for someone like her. The invitation came through her job. She worked as a junior assistant for a luxury events firm. Setup, coordination, background tasks, the kind of role where success meant not being noticed. When her supervisor told her she could stay after setup, Maya shook her head. "I'll just go home." But the words CEO's birthday party echoed in her mind longer than she expected. That night, standing in her apartment, she opened her closet. Oversized hoodie, loose pants, safe. She chose them again. A party built on power. The mansion pulsed with life. Soft jazz mixed with laughter. Crystal glasses reflected golden light. The pool glowed electric blue, casting ripples across marble walls. This wasn't just any celebration. It was Ethan Vale's birthday. At 26, Ethan was already a billionaire CEO, sharp jaw, controlled presence, confidence that didn't need volume. His suit was immaculate, the first 3 buttons undone with deliberate ease. He didn't demand attention. It followed him. Maya noticed him briefly. Then she looked away. Men like that didn't see women like her. The conversation that reached the wrong ears. Later that evening, Maya stood near the pool, hands tucked into the long sleeves of her hoodie. A group nearby laughed loudly. Someone asked, half mocking, "So, what's your ideal man?" Answers came quickly. Power, money, status. Maya didn't plan to speak, but she did. "I think," she said softly, "someone who doesn't need to prove anything." The group quieted. "Someone kind when there's nothing to gain," she continued. "Someone who listens. Someone who doesn't treat people like accessories." She felt exposed the moment the words left her mouth. What she didn't know was that across the pool deck, Ethan Vale had stopped walking. He wasn't trying to listen, but honesty has a way of cutting through noise. The decision that changed everything. Later, someone dared her to get in the pool. Maya laughed it off at first. Then she hesitated. Something inside her, quiet, patient, long ignored, finally spoke. What if hiding isn't protecting you anymore? She stepped into the changing area. For the first time in years, she didn't reach for oversized clothes. She looked at herself in the mirror. "You're allowed to exist," she whispered. The water embraced her. Cool, silent, free. And when she emerged, hands lifting to pull her hair back, water streaming down her arms, confidence replacing fear. The party froze. Music faded. Conversations died mid-sentence. From across the pool, Ethan Vale turned, and the man who controlled companies, rooms, and people forgot how to breathe. Guests stared, but Maya wasn't looking at them. She looked at him. And in that moment, Ethan realized something that unsettled him deeply. The girl who spoke about kindness, the one he hadn't noticed before, was never invisible. She had been hiding, and the night she stopped was the night everything began, and the path to a betrayal neither of them could yet see. No one looked away. That was the first thing Maya Collins noticed as she stepped fully out of the pool. She wasn't used to eyes lingering. She wasn't used to silence following her movements. The water slid down her skin, pooling at her feet like proof she hadn't imagined it. Somewhere behind her, laughter tried to restart, but it came out forced, uneven. This wasn't admiration. It was disbelief. For the first time in her life, Maya didn't shrink. She wrapped a towel around her shoulders calmly, as if this version of her had always existed, and that unsettled everyone watching. The CEO breaks the pattern. Across the pool deck, Ethan Vale realized something was wrong. Not with her, with him. He was staring. He never stared. Desire wasn't new to him. Attention followed him everywhere he went, and he'd learned long ago how to stay detached, how to enjoy moments without letting them touch anything real. But this was different. This wasn't desire first, it was curiosity, and curiosity was dangerous. He moved before his mind caught up. One step, then another. People parted without realizing they were doing it. Power had a gravity of its own. Their first real words. Maya felt him before she saw him. The air changed like pressure before a storm. She turned. Ethan stopped a few feet away, close enough now that she could see the faint crease between his brows. He looked human, not the polished image from business magazines. "You're cold," he said. It wasn't a question. He handed her a dry towel without ceremony. Maya hesitated, then took it. "Thank you." Their fingers brushed. A small thing, but it lingered. "I didn't expect—" He paused, then corrected himself. "I didn't realize you were the same person." Maya blinked. "Same as who?" "The woman who talked about kindness," he said. "Earlier." Something tightened in her chest. "Oh." She waited for mockery. It didn't come. "I meant what I said," she added quietly. "I know," Ethan replied, and that was the moment Maya felt something shift. Attention becomes currency. They talked. At first it was harmless. He asked where she worked. She asked why he hated celebrating his birthday. "He doesn't like rooms where people want something from me," he said. Maya smiled faintly. "Then why throw a party like this?" Ethan studied her. "To see who stays when I stop performing." The answer stayed with her. Around them whispers spread. People noticed. They always did when Ethan Vale focused on one person for longer than polite. Women glanced at Maya with new expressions: curiosity, envy, calculation. Men watched Ethan more closely now, measuring what they might be missing. Maya felt it. The weight of attention pressed against her ribs, and part of her enjoyed it. That scared her. A quiet warning. Later, as the night deepened, Maya stepped away to breathe. She found herself near the edge of the garden. Lights dimmer here, music distant. That's when a woman approached her. Elegant, older, calm. "Be careful," the woman said softly. Maya frowned. "About what?" "About being seen," she replied. "Especially by him." Before Maya could ask more, the woman smiled politely and walked away. The warning lingered like smoke. Ethan's private world. He found Maya again moments later. "Come with me," he said, not commanding but confident. "To where?" "Somewhere quieter." She hesitated. This was the moment where she usually said no, where instinct screamed retreat. But something about Ethan felt deliberate, measured, not rushed. She nodded. He led her to a balcony overlooking the pool. From here, the party looked distant, unreal, like a performance they'd stepped out of. "I don't usually do this," Ethan admitted. "Do what?" "Let people past the surface." Maya leaned against the railing. "Why me?" He didn't answer right away. Because the truth was complicated. Because he didn't fully understand it himself. "Because you didn't try to impress anyone," he finally said. "And because you don't seem impressed by me." She laughed softly. "Should I be?" Ethan smiled. And somewhere deep inside him, something dangerous took root. They talked longer than either intended. When Maya mentioned her job, her small apartment, her careful budgeting, Ethan listened, nodding. But something flickered behind his eyes. Calculation. Not cruel, just strategic. Maya didn't notice. She was too busy feeling seen in a way she never had before. And Ethan was already thinking 3 steps ahead. Maya didn't notice when the party stopped feeling loud. At some point, the noise faded into something distant, like rain against glass. From the balcony, the world below looked smaller, manageable. Ethan stood beside her, not too close, not too far. Intentional. "You don't like being the center of attention," he said. Maya looked at him, surprised. "No, I don't. But you handled it well." She exhaled slowly. "I didn't know I could." Ethan nodded once, as if filing that information away. A shift Maya didn't ask for. When they returned to the party, something had changed. People noticed her now. Not the way they noticed Ethan, but the way people noticed something valuable they hadn't realized was rare. Servers offered her drinks first. Guests smiled a little longer. Conversations paused when she passed. And always, there were eyes flicking between her and Ethan. Maya felt taller, straighter, but also exposed. The illusion of protection. Ethan stayed close, not possessive, not obvious, just present. When a man leaned in too closely, Ethan appeared at her side without a word. When laughter around her grew sharp, Ethan redirected the conversation effortlessly. To Maya, it felt like safety. To everyone else, it looked like a claim being staked. She didn't see the difference yet. A conversation that felt too easy. They ended up seated together near the fire pit, flames reflecting in Ethan's eyes. "Why do you hide?" he asked suddenly. Maya hesitated. "I didn't think anyone noticed." "I did." That alone felt intimate. She wrapped her arms loosely around herself. "People assume things when they see you. I got tired of correcting them." "What did they assume?" She said quietly. "That I was trying to be something, when really I just wanted to be left alone." Ethan studied her. "That won't happen anymore," he said. The words sounded comforting. They weren't meant as a promise. They were a statement. The first boundaries move. As the night thinned, Ethan offered to have a car take her home. "I usually take the bus," she said. "I know." She blinked. "You do?" "I asked," he replied calmly. Something about that made her chest tighten. He smiled, sensing it. "Only because I wanted to make sure you got home safely." The driver opened the door. Maya hesitated again, then stepped inside. It felt rude not to. A ride that changed the pace. The city passed by in quiet streaks of light. Maya stared out the window, then finally spoke. "You're very observant." Ethan smiled faintly. "It's my job." She turned toward him. "Does it ever bother you, knowing so much about people?" Only when they lie, he said. She believed him. That was the problem. The next morning, Maya woke up to something unfamiliar. A message. "Did you get home safely?" She stared at her phone. No one had ever checked on her like that before. She replied quickly, "Yes, thank you for last night." The reply came almost instantly. "You were remarkable." Her heart did something dangerous. Life begins to shift. Over the next few days, things changed, quietly. Her supervisor treated her differently. A promotion was mentioned casually. Her schedule suddenly aligned better with her life. It's probably a coincidence, she told herself. When Ethan invited her to coffee, she said yes without thinking. When he suggested a different outfit, something lighter, you'd look comfortable, she listened. Not because he demanded it, but because he noticed her. The warning returns. At the cafe, Maya spotted the elegant woman from the party across the street. Their eyes met. The woman didn't smile this time. She shook her head just slightly, then turned away. Maya looked back at Ethan, who was talking about growth, opportunity, possibility, and for the first time, a thought crossed her mind. Why is everything suddenly so easy? She didn't realize how much her life had changed until she stopped recognizing it. 2 weeks earlier, she'd blended into rooms. Now, doors opened before she reached them. From background to center frame. Her promotion became official on a Tuesday morning. No interview, no competition, just a brief meeting and a quiet, "Congratulations, you've been recommended." Recommended. The word echoed uncomfortably. That evening, Ethan invited her to a charity gala. "Just as my guest," he said casually. "No expectations." She almost said no, but then she thought of the hoodie folded at the back of her closet and said yes. The dress that felt like a line being crossed. The stylist arrived the morning of the gala. "I didn't ask for this," Maya said, panic rising. Ethan's voice came calmly through the phone. "You don't have to do anything you don't want to." The stylist smiled patiently. "But you'll like how you look." Maya stared at herself later, barely breathing. The dress wasn't revealing, it was precise, tailored to a version of her she was still learning to recognize. When she stepped into Ethan's car that night, his reaction was immediate. Not hunger, assessment. "You look exactly right," he said. Something about that made her chest tighten. Public association. Cameras flashed the moment they arrived. Maya froze. Ethan's hand settled gently at the small of her back. "Just breathe," he murmured. "They're not here for you." But they were. Headlines followed by morning. CEO Ethan Vale arrives with mystery woman. New face by his side raises questions. Maya laughed nervously when she saw them. "It's ridiculous." Ethan didn't laugh. "They'll move on," he said. "They always do." The world he controlled. Ethan's world was precise. Restaurants where staff knew his name, meetings that shifted around his schedule, people who nodded before he finished speaking. Maya tried not to rely on him, but reliance crept in quietly. He chose places she liked, anticipated her silences, removed obstacles before she knew they existed. When she thanked him, he waved it off. That's what people do when they care. She believed him. The question she didn't ask. One night, standing on his balcony overlooking the city, Maya finally spoke. "Why me?" Ethan didn't answer right away. Lights flickered below like a circuit board. "Because you're adaptable," he said carefully. "You don't come with expectations." The words stuck. Adaptable. Not special, not loved. Useful. She smiled anyway. The warning becomes clearer. Maya ran into the elegant woman again, this time at a private luncheon. "You're still here," the woman said quietly. Maya frowned. "Should I not be?" The woman's gaze softened. "He doesn't choose people randomly." "What does that mean?" "It means," she said gently, "that when he chooses, it's for a reason." Before Maya could respond, Ethan appeared beside her. The woman nodded politely and walked away. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Stay away from her," he said calmly. That night, Maya didn't sleep well. A shift in control. Small things began to change. Ethan preferred when she cleared her schedule. He discouraged certain friendships, suggested she move closer to the city. Not demands, suggestions, each one reasonable on its own. Together, they formed a pattern. Maya noticed it, but she also noticed how empty her old life felt now, and that scared her more. The edge of the truth. One evening, Maya overheard something she wasn't meant to. Ethan on the phone. Low voice, controlled. "She fits the profile perfectly," he said. "Yes, public perception is responding exactly as projected." Maya's breath caught. She stepped back before he could see her. Her heart pounded. Profile? Projected? When Ethan found her minutes later, his smile was unchanged. "Everything okay?" he asked. Maya nodded, but something inside her had already begun to crack. Maya didn't confront him right away. That was her mistake. She told herself she'd misheard, that profile and projection were business words, not personal ones. That Ethan Vale, who checked on her, protected her, elevated her, couldn't possibly be using her. So she waited. And Ethan, sensing nothing, continued as planned. The announcement. It happened at a press event. A sleek venue, white lights, cameras lined up with military precision. Maya stood beside Ethan, wearing another dress chosen for her, approved, really, smiling when expected, nodding when necessary. Then Ethan took the stage. "Today," he said smoothly, "we're announcing a new initiative, one focused on authenticity, relatability, and social trust." Maya's stomach tightened. Behind him, a screen lit up. Her face appeared. Photos from the gala, from the party, from the pool night. Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan continued unbroken. "This campaign is about transformation," he said, "about showing the world that anyone can rise when given the right opportunity." Maya turned toward him slowly. Her name appeared on the screen. Case Study Maya Collins. Her ears rang. The moment of realization. She didn't hear the applause, didn't see the reporters scribbling notes. All she could see was the pattern snapping into place, the promotion, the dresses, the visibility, the headlines. She wasn't his partner. She was his proof. She leaned toward him, voice barely moving. "You planned this." Ethan didn't look at her. "Of course I did," he replied quietly. "That doesn't mean it isn't real." Her chest felt hollow. "You studied me," she whispered. "Yes." "You chose me." "Yes." "Because I was adaptable?" He finally met her eyes. "Because you were perfect." The word landed like a slap. Public applause, private collapse. Backstage, Maya's hands shook. "This wasn't what you said," she said. "You said you cared." "I do," Ethan replied calmly, "but caring doesn't mean improvising." She laughed once, sharp, broken. "You turned my life into a marketing strategy." He sighed, like she was being unreasonable. "You were invisible," he said. "I gave you visibility." "You took my choice. You would have said no," he replied. The honesty was worse than a lie. The woman who warned her. The elegant woman appeared as if summoned. "I told you," she said gently. Maya looked at her. "Who are you?" "His former fiancé." The room tilted. "He did the same thing to me," the woman continued. "Different angle, same method." Maya's throat closed. Ethan didn't deny it. The final cut. The press conference went viral. Headlines twisted the narrative. CEO elevates ordinary woman. Internet applauds transformation. From invisible to icon. Maya watched from Ethan's penthouse, scrolling through a life that no longer felt like hers. "Say something," she said quietly. Ethan stood by the window. "Give it time," he replied. "They'll love you." She looked at him then, really looked, and saw not a villain, but a man who never saw people unless they served a purpose. She took off the dress, folded it carefully, placed it on the chair. Then she walked out. Maya didn't cry when she left. That surprised her. She walked out of Ethan Vale's penthouse with nothing but her phone and the clothes she'd worn to the press conference. The elevator ride down felt endless, like gravity had thickened around her. Outside, the city moved on. No one noticed her, and somehow that hurt more than being seen. Reclaiming the narrative. Maya didn't sue. She didn't sell interviews. She did something quieter. She wrote. Not a tell-all, a truth. She posted it anonymously at first, a piece about invisibility, about being shaped into someone else's story, about the difference between being seen and being used. It spread, not because of Ethan, because of her. The shift. People listened, not to the scandal, to the message. Maya received messages from strangers. "This happened to me. Thank you for saying it. I thought I was alone." For the first time, her voice mattered on her own terms. Maya didn't disappear. She simply stopped performing. The attention around her faded slowly, like an echo losing shape. And in that quiet, she learned something she'd never been taught before. Being seen meant nothing if it wasn't on your own terms. The offer she didn't expect. Weeks later, an email arrived. A foundation, independent, unaffiliated. They wanted her to speak, not as the girl from the scandal, but as herself. Maya stared at the screen for a long time. Then she replied with one condition. No images, no branding, no spin. Just words. They agreed. The final meeting. Ethan requested one last conversation. Not a meeting, a conversation. They sat across from each other in a quiet room, no cameras, no audience. "You were right," he said. She waited. "I didn't ask." Maya nodded. "That's the problem. I never meant to hurt you." "I know," she replied calmly, "but intention doesn't erase impact." He studied her, searching for something. Anger, forgiveness, regret. He found none of it. "You don't need me anymore," he said. She smiled, not unkindly. "I never did." Redefining visibility. At the event, Maya stood on stage wearing something simple. No oversized hoodie, no curated dress, just clothes she chose. "I spent years hiding," she began. "Then I spent weeks being seen in a way I didn't choose." The room was silent. "I learned that visibility without consent is just another form of control." Heads nodded. "And that confidence doesn't come from attention, it comes from agency." Applause followed, but it wasn't thunderous, it was real. The last lesson. Maya walked home alone that night. Not invisible, not exposed, just present. She passed her reflection in a window and didn't look away. She didn't need armor anymore. She didn't need permission. She didn't stop hiding to be admired. She stopped hiding to be free. If you enjoyed this story, if it made your heart race, or your breath catch, or your mind wander just a little, then don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe so you never miss the next twist, the next heartbreak, the next moment that stays with you. More stories, more mystery, more emotion coming soon.